Good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn them notifications on. We are back today with another video and the weather is still very rough. There's a lot of rain and wind about, so not a lot of field work yet to do, which means we've got a little bit of time still to get on with some maintenance on the tractors. And that's what we got going in today's video. So I'm going to be doing the steering pins and bushes on this Ford 7740 SLE here behind me today. It's not really a difficult job. I'm not really, well, I've never done them before to be honest, so I'm not sure, but I have done the steering pins and bushes on our JCB. That wasn't too bad of a job. The only difference with this one being is we've got bushes on both ends of the hydraulic ram, whereas on that one I think it was just on the one end and they're a slightly different design. But we might as well get this now, get it in the shed. I've got to get the Puma out and something, so we'll get it in the shed, jack it up and make a start. Right, so we've got the tractor backed in the shed now, and I'm just going to run through what we've got to do. So basically, the bushes are in this piece here on the ram, and then in just down there in that piece there in the ram as well. So what I've got to do is I've got to get this ram out. That's not too much of a difficult job really. It's a case of taking these two pipes off of the power steering here. I could take them off on top of the ram, but it's a lot easier just to take them two fittings off and then undo, I don't know if you can see that, then I've got to undo this 13mm pin on this pin, and then the same over here, and then on this pin here there is a circlip underneath which needs undoing. Then both pins will come out and the ram should just slide out nicely. Okay, so we've got a drip tray in place, and that's just a case of undoing these two pipes. We've got that one. There we go. As you can see there's a little bit of oil coming out, so that's why we've got the drip tray in place. Okay, so now there's this Circlip here. This might not be very easy to get out whilst holding the camera. There we go. Got the pins to knock out next, and I'm going to be using this tool which I made. I made this to do the pins on the JCB. And basically all it is a shaft with two pins welded on it, one short and one long. All I use it for is put the pin onto the pin that you're knocking out, and you can hold well away with your hand and give it a good thrash with the hammer. Basically it just saves you hitting your hand, whereas if you were holding that pin there's not much of a surface to hold. Just makes it that little bit easier. So we'll knock them pins out and then get the ram out. Oh, I didn't expect it to fly out like that. There we are, there's the pin knocked out, and as you can see the ram just pulls out of there now. So we'll just do the other end and get this out. There we are, the ram's off, and now it's just a case of getting the bushes out. Now this is a little bit of a challenge because it's, I don't know if you can see, you probably can't on the camera, but basically in there's just a circlip on both sides to hold the bush in place. These are them really awful circlips, the ones without the holes in, which basically just work on, I know all circlips work on the fact they're sprung sprung steel and hold themselves in place. But these ones are a nightmare, so they take a little bit of getting out. So we'll get this one out of here. We'll need to take one out of this side and one out of that side. So we'll just get them 2 circlips out and knock the bushes out. There we are, there are the bushes knocked out. Them circlips took me about 25 minutes each to get out. They take ages. I really hate the design of them. These style of circlips, as you can see, they've not got any holes in them, so they're a real pain. So yeah, we got the bushes out. These are the bushes. They're almost like a bearing, and if you can hear that, but they're very, very notchy, quite dry. Okay, so there we are. We got one of the new bushes there. So basically, all I've got to do is push this here. Now, ideally, I'd have a press and press them in, but don't have them sort of luxuries. So I'm just going to get a socket, which is the same size as this collar, and then rest the socket against it and tap it in. Basically, by using the socket, I'm hitting the casting and the shell of the bearing, rather than, if we'll call it a bearing, rather than the inside of the bearing. So we'll just get a socket and knock these in. And there we go. There's the first bush knocked in. As you can see, that's pretty easy. I just sprayed a bit of WD inside the hole here and just wiped it out with a rag. It always makes it that little bit easier just to wipe the surface of the insides of these sorts of things. It makes it slip in a lot easier. So we'll just do the other one now. And there's the second one in place. Now it's just stick the circlips back in both ends and then get it back on the tractor. And there we go. Bushes are fitted, so it's time to get it back on the tractor now. As you can see, them circlips are 10 times easier to get back on than they are to get off. Just one of them bugbear little things. Right, so I'm going to work from this side so you can see from up there. So what we've got to do, put this in. This goes in this way up because there's a little bush, as you can see, goes in the bottom of that. We slot that into there, so, and then we get our pin, push that into place. We pull the ram out to fit inside the jaws and find its place. Then there's 2 washers that go on that end, one obviously top and bottom, so I'll put them in place. So I've got to hold the bottom one as I slide it in, and once it's in it'll be fine. Well, there we are. We've done the circlip on the bottom of this pin. Now it's just a case of coupling these pipes up, grease it up, and then it's a job done. Right, so we've just cleared all the tools away. Now what I'm going to do, fire the tractor up and turn the steering. But basically, because I emptied that ram of oil, that's going to need to have the oil work its way around the system. So when we turn this on, I should be able to do a full lock from centre to the left or right, and it'll then come through. So just look. Oh, here we are, look. Steering's working as it should do. So now it's just a case of jumping off, do the other side, and then it's the job done. And there we have it, the job is complete. We've changed both sides, pins and bushes on the steering, and that's really it. It was not too bad of a job. The worst part about it was taking them circlips off. They're a real pain. I didn't bother recording that because it took me that long. You know, you just switched off after about 5 seconds. So yeah, that brings us to the end. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.